We've been following this major operation underway in Lake Michigan, right near 47th Street.
Yeah, crews are working to pull a sunken boat out of the water. Let's check back in with Gabby.
For thousands of years, the Great Lakes have kept their deepest secrets hidden beneath dark, freezing water. From the shore, they look peaceful and endless. But far below the surface, scientists are finding signs that something may have been buried where no one thought to look. New technology is now reaching places humans have never explored, and some of the discoveries are raising more questions than answers. What happened beneath these waters long ago? Why have certain clues remained untouched for so many years? Join us in this video as we reveal the details. The Great Lakes are hiding something. Scientists fear what's buried below. The Great Lakes are among the largest freshwater bodies in the world. They are made up of Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, Lake Erie, and Lake Ontario. Together, these lakes hold a huge amount of fresh water. They are so wide and deep that they can look like oceans. From the shore, the water may appear calm and peaceful. However, the lakes can change quickly. Strong winds can create large waves. Heavy rain can raise the water level. Long periods of dry weather can cause the water to fall. These changes can affect homes, roads, beaches, boats, and communities near the shore. One of the biggest concerns is the way water levels have moved up and down in recent years. Between 2013 and 2020, the water level in Lake Michigan and Lake Huron rose by about 6 feet. This was a major increase because the lakes cover a very large area. As the water rose, docks that had remained above the water for years became flooded. Some beaches became smaller. Waves moved closer to homes and buildings. In some places, the water damaged parts of the shoreline. People living near the lakes had to deal with flooding and the loss of land. The water later began to fall again. This quick change created new problems. Boats could have trouble reaching docks when the water became too low. Areas that had been underwater could become dry. The fast movement from low water to high water and back to lower levels made it difficult for scientists to predict what would happen next. Many things control the amount of water in the Great Lakes. Rain adds water. Snow adds water when it melts. Rivers and streams carry water into the lakes. Wind can push water from one side of a lake to another. Heat can turn water into vapor and send it into the air. This process is called evaporation. All these things work together. A change in one part of the system can affect the whole lake. The Great Lakes were formed thousands of years ago during the Ice Age. At that time, huge sheets of ice covered large parts of North America. These large sheets of ice were called glaciers. They were very thick and heavy. They moved slowly across the land. As they moved, they pushed away soil and rocks. They also cut deep spaces into the ground. After the earth became warmer, the glaciers began to melt and move away. Water filled the deep spaces left behind. Over time, these areas became the Great Lakes. The lakes still receive water from rain, snow, rivers, streams, and land runoff. Water also moves through the lake system and later flows toward the Atlantic Ocean through the St. Lawrence River. The lakes are very important because millions of people depend on them. Around 40 million people use the Great Lakes as a source of drinking water. The lakes serve communities in the United States and Canada. Major cities such as Chicago, Detroit, Cleveland, Toronto, and Milwaukee depend on this water. People use it in their homes, schools, hospitals, offices, and businesses. The lakes also support fishing, shipping, farming, tourism, and many jobs. Large ships move goods across the water. Fishermen depend on healthy fish populations. Visitors travel to the lakes to enjoy beaches, parks, and beautiful views. Many businesses depend on people who live near or visit the lakes. If the water becomes unsafe or begins to change too much, millions of people could be affected. Climate change may also change the way the lakes behave. During cold winters, ice forms across parts of the water. The ice covers the surface and reduces the amount of water exposed to the air. When winters become warmer, less ice may form. This leaves more open water. The open water can lose more moisture through evaporation. If evaporation becomes very high, water levels may fall. At the same time, heavy rainfall can add large amounts of water and cause levels to rise. This may create stronger changes between high and low water levels. These changes may affect homes, roads, beaches, ports, wildlife, and people living near the shore. Beneath Lake Huron, scientists have found evidence of an ancient world. Thousands of years ago, some parts of the lake were dry land. Early people may have lived, traveled, and hunted in these places. Researchers found long rows of stones, old hunting areas, and pieces of stone tools beneath the water. Some of these remains may be around 9,000 years old. The stone structures may have helped hunters hide while waiting for animals. Caribou may have traveled through the area during seasonal movement. The hunters may have used the land to find food and support their families. As glaciers melted and water levels changed, the land became covered. The ancient landscape disappeared beneath Lake Huron. If the Great Lakes can hide entire ancient landscapes and the remains of people who lived there thousands of years ago, what other secrets could still be waiting in the cold, dark waters beneath the surface? Let's delve deeper. Hidden stones, cold waters, lost ships, and unsolved mysteries. The Great Lakes contain more than water. Deep below the surface are old landscapes, strange stone formations, lost ships, and stories that have not been fully explained. One unusual discovery was made beneath Lake Michigan. In 2007, underwater researcher Mark Hawley used sonar equipment to study the floor of Grand Traverse Bay. Sonar uses sound waves to help researchers create images of places hidden beneath the water. Hawley was searching for old shipwrecks when the equipment showed something unexpected. It revealed a line of stones on the lake bed. The stones appeared to be arranged in a pattern. They did not look like a random group of rocks. Their position raised questions about whether people may have placed them there when the area was still dry land. One large stone appeared to have a shape that looked like a mastodon. A mastodon was a large animal that lived in North America thousands of years ago. It had a long trunk and looked similar to an elephant. The shape on the stone seemed to show parts of a large animal. However, the discovery has not been fully confirmed. Scientists have not agreed that the shape was made by humans. It may be a natural mark created by weather, water, or changes in the rock. More research is needed before a final answer can be given. The stone formation remains an interesting discovery because it may be connected to a time when the land beneath the lake was still above water. Lake Superior is another place filled with hidden history. It is the deepest and coldest of the Great Lakes. Some parts are more than 1,200 feet deep. The water near the bottom remains very cold. Cold water can slow the process that causes some materials to break down. Because of this, old ships and objects can remain preserved for a long time. Some shipwrecks that sank more than 100 years ago still show parts of their original structure. In some cases, parts of the ships remain clear because the cold water slowed decay. Lake Superior is connected to an old saying that it never gives up its dead. The saying reflects the cold conditions and the many lives lost in the lake. People and objects that sink may remain beneath the surface for a very long time. The Great Lakes are believed to contain thousands of shipwrecks. Ships have been lost because of strong storms, large waves, thick fog, fires, collisions, damaged equipment, and dangerous waters. Some ships struck rocks or shallow areas. Others were damaged by powerful winds. Some wrecks have been found by divers and sonar teams, but many are still missing. The exact number may never be known because some ships disappeared before detailed records were kept. These wrecks are important because they tell stories about trade, travel, work, and life in earlier times. One of the most famous shipwrecks is the Edmund Fitzgerald. The ship was a large cargo vessel that traveled across the Great Lakes. On November 10, 1975, it entered a powerful storm on Lake Superior. Strong winds and huge waves created dangerous conditions. During the storm, the ship disappeared from radar. All 29 crew members died. No final emergency message was received before the ship went down. The wreck was later found deep beneath the water. It had broken into two large sections. Investigators have studied the disaster for many years. Strong waves, flooding, damage to the ship, and other problems have been considered. However, the exact reason the ship sank so quickly remains uncertain. The northern part of Lake Michigan is also linked to several unusual disappearances. Some people call the area the Lake Michigan Triangle. The name is connected to reports involving missing ships, aircraft, and people. One case happened in 1937 when the captain of a ship called the O.M. McFarland entered his cabin and later disappeared. He was never found. The event created many questions because the captain seemed to vanish without a clear explanation. Another major event happened in 1950 when Northwest Airlines Flight 2501 crashed into Lake Michigan. The aircraft carried 58 people. Everyone on board died. Search teams found some parts of the aircraft and recovered personal belongings. However, the main body of the plane has not been located. The lake is large, deep, and difficult to search. The missing wreckage has left important questions unanswered. There is no scientific evidence that a strange or supernatural force caused these events. Strong storms, poor weather, human mistakes, equipment problems, and the difficult conditions of the lake may explain many disappearances. Still, some cases remain unclear because important evidence has never been found. The Great Lakes may appear peaceful from the shore, but deep below the surface are ancient lands, unusual stone formations, preserved shipwrecks, and lost aircraft. The lakes hold a long record of natural change and human history. If Lake Michigan has already revealed ancient stone structures, lost landscapes, and secrets buried beneath its cold waters, what strange discovery could be waiting even deeper on the dark and unexplored lake floor? Let's find out. The strange circles hidden deep beneath Lake Michigan. Scientists are still learning about what lies beneath the water. A major discovery brought new attention to the deep floor of Lake Michigan. Researchers were using special sonar equipment to map the bottom of the lake. Sonar uses sound waves to create images of places that people cannot easily see. The sound travels through the water, touches the lake bed, and returns to the equipment. The information helps researchers understand the shape of the ground below. The team hoped to find old ships and learn more about the underwater landscape. They expected to see normal rocky areas, sandy ground, and uneven parts of the lake floor. Instead, the sonar showed something strange. Large round shapes appeared beneath the water. The shapes looked like giant circles pressed into the lake bed. They were different from the ordinary rocks and rough ground found in many other places. The discovery surprised the researchers because the circles appeared unusually smooth and organized. Some looked almost too perfect to be simple natural features. The formations were found about 500 feet below the surface. At that depth, the water is very dark. Sunlight cannot reach the lake floor. The water is also cold, making the area difficult to study. People cannot easily swim down to examine the formations. Scientists must use machines, cameras, sonar equipment, and underwater vehicles. These tools allow them to collect images and information without sending people into dangerous conditions. The circles are very large. Some are believed to be between 300 and 600 feet wide. Their size is difficult to imagine. A person standing near one of the formations would see a huge open area stretching across the lake bed. Some of the formations are also close to 40 feet deep. They are not small holes. They are large depressions that may have been part of the lake floor for a very long time. Researchers later used a remotely operated vehicle to study the area more closely. This machine can move through deep water while being controlled from above. It can carry cameras and other scientific tools. The investigation showed that there may be around 40 of these circular formations. Finding so many in one area made the mystery more interesting. If there had been only one hole, it might have been easier to explain. However, the presence of many large circles raised new questions. Some of the formations appear to follow a loose path across the lake bed. They seem to extend in a general direction rather than appearing in completely random places. This pattern may be important. It could mean that one natural event affected several parts of the lake floor. It could also mean that the same process happened many times in nearby areas. Scientists have not said that people created the formations. There is no clear evidence that the circles were made by humans. The shapes may be completely natural. However, their size, depth, and arrangement make them different from many common features found beneath lakes. Researchers are now studying the rocks, soil, and water around the circles. They hope that the surrounding environment will provide clues about how the formations developed. One possible explanation is that the circles are underwater sinkholes. A sinkhole is a hole that forms when the ground below becomes weak or empty. Water can slowly move through certain types of rock and remove small pieces over a long time. This can create open spaces beneath the surface. The ground above may continue to look strong for many years. However, as the empty space grows, the upper layer may no longer support its own weight. It can collapse and leave a deep hole. Sinkholes can form slowly or appear suddenly. Some are small, while others are very large. On land, large sinkholes can damage roads, swallow cars, and destroy buildings. Underwater sinkholes are harder to notice because they are hidden below the water. Lake Michigan sits above areas of limestone bedrock. Limestone is a type of rock that can slowly break down when water moves through it. Over many years, the water may create small spaces inside the rock. These spaces can become larger. If the surface above them becomes weak, it may fall inward. This process could possibly create large holes on the lakebed. The sinkhole idea may explain why the formations are deep and round. However, many questions remain. If sinkholes did not create these strange circles, could ancient glaciers hold the answer? Let's learn more. Ancient ice, deep water life, and the search for answers. Scientists are studying another possible explanation for the strange circular formations beneath Lake Michigan. This idea is connected to glaciers and the ancient Ice Age. Thousands of years ago, huge sheets of ice covered large parts of North America. These giant bodies of ice were called glaciers. They were much larger than ordinary ice found during winter. Some were very thick and covered wide areas of land. Although glaciers moved slowly, they had great weight. Their heavy ice could press down on the ground and change the shape of the land. As glaciers moved, they pushed rocks, soil, and other materials. They scraped the surface and broke parts of the rock below. Over thousands of years, this slow movement created valleys, deep paths, and large changes across the land. The Great Lakes region was strongly shaped by glaciers. The ice helped create large basins in the ground. When the climate became warmer, the glaciers began to melt and move away. Water filled many of the deep areas left behind. Over time, these large water-filled basins became the Great Lakes. Because glaciers played such an important role in shaping the region, scientists are considering whether they may have helped create the strange formations beneath Lake Michigan. The ground beneath the ancient ice was not the same everywhere. Some areas had hard rock, while others had softer or broken rock. A glacier moving across softer ground could remove more material. It could press deeper into weak areas and create large depressions. This may explain why some of the formations are deeper or wider than others. However, the glacier theory also has problems. Glaciers often create long marks, wide valleys, curved shapes, and deep grooves. They do not usually create many large circles that look like separate craters. The formations beneath Lake Michigan appear more round than the common marks left by moving ice. Because of this, scientists cannot yet confirm that glaciers created them. The idea remains possible, but more proof is needed. Researchers may study the rocks and soil around the circles. They may look for signs of pressure, scraping, broken rock, or other changes caused by ancient ice. The answer may be hidden in the material beneath the lake floor. The strange circles may also help scientists study life in difficult places. The deep parts of Lake Michigan are cold and dark. Very little light reaches the bottom. Some deep areas also have lower levels of oxygen than water near the surface. These conditions can be difficult for many living things. However, some animals and tiny organisms are able to survive there. Scientists are interested in learning how these living things adapt to the cold and darkness. One animal that may live in deep water is the opossum shrimp. This is a small, shrimp-like creature. It has a pouch that carries its young until they are ready to live on their own. Opossum shrimp can survive in cold water and may remain close to deep areas of the lake. Another animal is the deep-water sculpin. This is a small fish that lives near the bottom. It is well suited to cold and dark conditions. It can survive in places where many other fish may struggle. These animals are part of the natural life found in the deeper parts of the lake. Quagga mussels are also found in the Great Lakes. These small freshwater animals attach themselves to rocks and other hard surfaces. They came from outside the region and spread quickly. They compete with native animals for food and space. When large numbers of quagga mussels gather in one place, they can change the natural balance of the lake. They may affect the food supply of other animals and change the way the ecosystem works. Scientists are also interested in tiny living things that may exist inside or around the circular formations. These may include bacteria and other microbes. Some microbes can live in places with little oxygen. They may survive in cold water and darkness. Their ability to live in harsh conditions makes them important for scientific study. Early Earth was very different from the world today. The air contained much less oxygen. Some of the first living things developed in environments where oxygen was limited. Deep areas of Lake Michigan may provide conditions that are somewhat similar. By studying microbes in these places, scientists may learn more about how early life survived and changed over time. The circular formations may therefore be important for more than geology. They may also help researchers understand the history of life. Scientists still do not know whether the formations were created by sinkholes, glaciers, or another natural process. It is possible that more than one event played a role. Ancient ice may have weakened parts of the land. Water may later have changed the limestone beneath the surface. Other natural forces may also have affected the lake bed. Future research may provide clearer answers. Scientists plan to use better sonar equipment and advanced underwater vehicles. They will study the shape of the formations and examine the rocks, soil, water, and living things around them. Lake Michigan still has many hidden areas. Large parts of its floor have not been fully explored. The strange circles show that even a famous and heavily used lake can still contain major mysteries. More discoveries may be waiting in the cold and dark water. Each new study may reveal more about the lake's past, the power of ancient glaciers, and the unusual forms of life that survive beneath the surface. If the Great Lakes have already revealed so many hidden secrets, what ancient world could still be waiting beneath their deep and silent waters? Let's find out. The Lost World. Beneath the Great Lakes. The Great Lakes hold more than water, fish, and old ships. Deep below the surface, there are signs of a world that existed thousands of years ago. Long before the lakes reached their present size, many parts of the region were dry land. Early human groups lived, traveled, hunted, and searched for food across these areas. As the Ice Age came to an end, large glaciers began to melt. The land changed. Water levels rose, and many old places slowly disappeared beneath the lakes. The people living there had to move as the environment changed around them. Their homes and daily activities were left behind. Today, researchers are finding evidence that these early people understood the land and knew how to survive in difficult conditions. Under Lake Huron, scientists discovered an ancient hunting area around 120 feet below the water. The site is large and covers about 20 acres. Researchers believe early hunters built long stone walls to guide animals into a narrow path. The animals may have been pushed into the path until they had little room to escape. Hunters could then wait near the end and attack them. Stone shelters were also found in the area. These may have helped hunters hide while waiting for animals such as caribou. The discovery shows that early people did not hunt without a plan. They worked together and used the shape of the land to make hunting easier. Researchers also found small pieces of chert, a hard stone used to make sharp tools. These tools may have been used for hunting, cutting, and preparing food. Another important discovery was obsidian. Obsidian is a natural volcanic glass that can be shaped into sharp tools. Tests suggested that some of the obsidian came from an area around present-day Oregon, about 2,500 miles away. This created an important question. Did ancient people travel across very long distances? Or did different groups trade materials with one another? The discovery suggests that early communities may have shared goods and information across large parts of North America. The cold water of the Great Lakes may have protected many ancient objects. On land, old wooden homes and other materials often rot or are destroyed by farming, construction, and human activity. Underwater, some objects can remain hidden and protected for thousands of years. The lake floor may contain old tools, hunting areas, stone structures, and evidence of daily life. These discoveries are helping researchers understand people who lived long before modern cities existed. The Great Lakes may look like simple bodies of water from the shore, but beneath them lies a hidden record of human life. Every new discovery adds another piece to the story of the people who once walked across land that is now covered by deep water. If ancient people once lived beneath these waters, what other secrets, lost ships, hidden tunnels, and strange discoveries are still waiting to be found? Let's take a closer look. Shipwrecks, Niagara tunnels, and strange discoveries. The Great Lakes and Niagara Falls contain many hidden stories. Some are connected to ancient people, while others come from ships, old buildings, powerful water, and strange discoveries. One important shipwreck was the F.J. King, a wooden ship built in 1867. It carried goods across the Great Lakes during a time when water travel was very important. In 1886, the ship was caught in a powerful storm. Strong winds damaged the wooden vessel and caused parts of it to break. Captain William Griffin ordered the crew to leave the ship. The crew escaped in a smaller boat and watched as the F.J. King sank beneath Lake Michigan. For many years, nobody knew where the ship was. The wreck became a famous mystery among divers and ship researchers. After studying old records, maritime historian Brendan Baylod found a newspaper report that gave useful information about the ship's location. A team later used sonar equipment to search the lake floor. Underwater vehicles were sent down to confirm the discovery. The F.J. King was finally found after being hidden for almost 140 years. It is only one of thousands of shipwrecks beneath the Great Lakes. Heavy shipping, sudden storms, strong winds, large waves, fires, and accidents caused many ships to sink. Around 6,000 wrecks may still remain underwater. Scientists are now working to create detailed maps of the lake floors. The project may reveal unknown shipwrecks and hidden parts of the underwater landscape. Niagara Falls also has many secrets below the surface. In 2022, an old underground tunnel opened to visitors beneath the former Niagara Parks power station. The tunnel was once used to carry water away from the power station. Workers built it using shovels, pickaxes, and dynamite. The work took several years and required great physical effort. The power station operated from 1905 until 2006 and used the force of the Niagara River to produce electricity. After it closed, the building was changed into a public attraction. Niagara Falls was also temporarily changed in 1969. Engineers built a large barrier to redirect water away from the American Falls. This allowed scientists to study the rocks beneath the waterfall. Large rocks had fallen and created concerns about erosion. For several months, the falls became dry, and many people visited to see the unusual sight. The water was later allowed to return. Another strange discovery came from the research vessel RV Blue Heron. Workers found a thick black substance around part of the ship. It looked like oil, but did not smell or behave like normal oil. Scientists later found signs of unusual life inside it. The discovery showed that the Great Lakes may still contain small forms of life that are not fully understood. These places continue to reveal hidden stories proving that much remains unknown beneath the water. The Great Lakes are beautiful, vast, and peaceful, yet beneath their shining waters lies a mysterious world filled with hidden history, unexplained discoveries, and secrets still waiting to be uncovered. People are yet to explore and uncover every hidden object beneath these Great Lakes. However, the few discovered are already leaving a lot of explorers shocked. What do you think about the things hidden beneath the Great Lakes? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Thanks for watching. If you found the lost ancient world beneath the Great Lakes, the hidden shipwrecks, the secret tunnels behind Niagara Falls, and the strange discoveries beneath the water fascinating, please like, subscribe, and watch the next video for more hidden history, unexplained mysteries, and shocking discoveries. See you there.